a global movement and the leader in visibility conferences for women founders through stages and community. Who's up next in the golden chair? Join us. I'm your host, Christina of Women Getting Visible. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to my friends around the world, wherever you are watching or listening to this, and whenever you are watching and listening to this. I am absolutely thrilled to introduce my next guest and someone who I now consider a dear friend of mine. I want to welcome Deborah to the stage. Hi, Deborah.
Hey, Christina. Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, it is so good to see you. So I'm going to start off with our wonderful chance encounter. That's the word.
Yeah.
At PodFest, which was only 3 months ago from today, but we connected on such a really cool level, and I'm so thrilled. You know, it was so fun. I was like, okay, heading to PodFest, going to do a visibility meetup and see who shows up. I had 62 people reserve to come to that meetup, which was so amazing. And one of my huge takeaways was meeting this girl right here, Deborah.
Yeah. I remember seeing it on the schedule, and I was like, have to go meet whoever created that. That's whose hand I want to shake, because I'm drawn to leaders, and I was really excited to just see who you would be. And then it was you, and it was like instantly like, okay, what are we doing?
Yes. Talking till 1:30 in the morning.
We did. We stayed up late. We stayed up way past my bedtime. No, it was so worth it though. And all the conversations that have ensued since have been magical. So I'm grateful to be here today.
Yes. And oh my goodness, I'm just putting the news flash out there. There is more to come from me and this girl in the same rooms together. There's some good stuff. So you better stay tuned. So Deborah, tell us where in the world you are today, and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay. So I live between Brooklyn and upstate New York. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. Most of my adult life lived in New York City, some parts of New York City, but born and raised in upstate. So I kind of make the trek back and forth between the two still. And I'm a marketing strategist. I'm a business coach. I have a background in communications and event production in terms of like the marketing side of things. And I've always been drawn to storytelling, communication, and just as it's a natural skill set of mine. But I studied art and theater in college, and then that very easily led to working as in marketing departments, just having natural communication skills. So I got into event production in New York City when I moved there. Later, when I was running my own business, that was instrumental because I was running an event production company. Essentially, it was a wellness company in New York City, which produced the event of live fresh juice bars, wellness gatherings, and summits to help people create healthy lifestyles. So everything was event based. And I was the operations and marketing director for that company for many, many years. But yeah, I help women at this point. My online business is very strategically set up to work with women entrepreneurs. And I help them get really, really clear on things like their signature offer and the messaging surrounding that, and basically install client attraction systems into their business. So they have automated lead generation and automated sales set up using smart communication and just aligned messaging.
I love it. I love it. And it's so fascinating. I mean, every time I listen to, whether I'm listening to your podcast or I'm listening to you in a conversation, I always have something to learn. So thank you for that. Whether you know that or not, I'm sharing it with you now.
Thank you.
I'm always learning something from you. So what was it? So you've had the juice bar, you've had this event, background before that. What was that turning point for you to become where you are today?
So I loved working for the arts organizations in New York City. I worked for the National Dance Institute for many years, which is a huge citywide education program for children dance programs. And I worked for the Museum of Art and Design, which is a huge craft and design organization in New York City with major, big events. And being in those marketing departments and working for those companies was exciting because they were both not-for-profits, but they were very, very connected in the city. So we got to work in big spaces and work with, celebrity, hosts and benefactors and do some really cool things. But the grind of sort of a 9 to 5 structure of business did not sit well with me. And I am by nature creative. I have a background in dance and art and music, and it's a big part of who I am. And I just felt out of alignment, like a fish out of water, being in the sort of the structure, the day-to-day 9 to 5 structure just did not work well for me. And I found myself dreaming of having, just a different reality and being able to be more creative and being able to be more impactful with the ways that I could support and help people. I got
Yeah.
really excited about holistic health when I started just discovering for my own self, for my own body, certain things that had been out of balance, that I could approach it through the lens of eating a plant-based diet, eating healthier, sort of just taking the reins on my own wellness, opened the door for me to this wellness industry and this wellness world. And so then I partnered actually I originally had a business partner to launch our first business. And that was very rooted in me bringing my marketing and event production skills and her bringing she was a chef actually at the school that I studied holistic health at. So there was this food person and this operations and events person, and we combined forces and we launched our first business. And while I was working 3 times as much as I was when I had a 9 to 5, it was like this really invigorating, opportunity. I mean, everything that we did was creative. Everything that we did was our building relationships with new people, exploring new parts of the city, partnering with major name brands. Like we got to do events with every high-end brand in New York City, all the high-tech people, luxury brands, designers, fashion week. So we did a lot of really fun, creative events. It was just always very exciting. I think it was satisfying to me at first because it was always new. There was never like no monotony, never the same thing. There was always new people, new events, new spaces. But then after 4 or 5 years of doing it, I started to really put on my business thinking cap and started crunching numbers and realizing, okay, this is all fine. It's great to have, exciting new adventures every single day inside your business. It's also kind of exhausting. And what we need is a system that we can rinse and repeat, kind of like we do at the 9 to 5, right? Kind of like, people's systems that will scale. So I started really dipping back into that pool of knowledge from running communications and directing events at these other companies. What did they do that was something that we just could rinse and repeat? And at that time, being online was kind of a new thing, right? So we're talking 2006 2007 was when I launched my first business. It was really not until about 2009 or 10 that I started really, really working with online systems. But from the advent of what we now have as social media, like from the first day of Twitter and Instagram and all these companies, we were locked in. I was like, this is going to be amazing because we can use this organic method to reach way more people and grow our business. And so I've been sort of evolving with technology ever since and building online systems and streamlining marketing for people. And then roughly around 2018, I was like, okay, I'm tired of doing this huge event company. I'm going to start winding it down. And I did start kind of like shutting down some of the branches. We had catering and we had a food truck and we had all kinds of activations and pop-up events, and it was just too much. So I started sort of slowly trickling down. And then around 2019, my mom had a health event. And it was a really big eye opener. She was okay, but it got the wheel spinning. I was like, wait, if she had a serious health event, who's going to be the person to take care of her? And I was the most likely candidate in my family. And I remember thinking like, I would be so screwed if I was needed right now by somebody, because I'm completely tethered to this business. And I started rethinking how I could be of service. And I was already mentoring and coaching other women with their online business systems. And at that moment, I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to slowly dismantle this in-person service-based, food-based company, and slowly start transitioning to just working with women and helping them grow their wellness companies and doing all this online marketing and messaging. And then, so this is divine intervention. I could not have planned this, but we had sort of closed down shop on a bunch of different branches of the business.
Yeah.
before March of 2020 when the whole thing shut down. And it was so clear to me, so many of my friends were these genius, brilliant, service providers, whether they were a yoga teacher or, an accountant or a person who helped kids with after school programming and, studying. There was so many different things that people were doing that they could no longer do because they were in-person services.
Mhm.
So one by one, I started helping women start to build the scaffolding of a structure for a business online, so they could start delivering services by Zoom, whatever it might be, group coaching, building courses. And then that just took off in a way that I, couldn't have predicted necessarily, but it's just been so rewarding for me watching all of these women take their genius, take their knowledge, and then systemically just follow a couple of basic steps to put that into a marketable and sellable business that brings them recurring monthly income. They can live their lives. And so it's been, taking a lot of what I learned from my own, the first two businesses that I ran, and applying it to helping other women build something sustainable for themselves, and, helping them avoid some of the serious mistakes that I made at the beginning of my journey.
Yeah. What I love about that too is, there comes the term, and I had to learn it for myself, transferable skills. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's a vocabulary term, but what is that? Having gone from a ballroom studio and a dance company in the DC area to suddenly, now I'm on social media and I have this whole media company and conferences. Where are those skills that you already have that you can put into this new phase? And I love that, because in what you're doing with women now, teaching them, okay, there are systems, because we can color the out or put the outlines in a coloring book and then color in what it looks like for each person. And so I love the fact that that is what you do, and helping women. What is the biggest learning factor you think someone who's moving into this space now needs to learn about systems?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, so one thing to keep in mind is that the psychological processes that we are working with when we're thinking about marketing and selling anything, I don't care what you sell. It could be a hand sewn dress, it could be a high ticket coaching program, it could be a green juice, which is something I used to sell. No matter what you sell, there is a potential buyer out there, a potential customer out there who probably wants what you have. I mean, you wouldn't be in business selling something if you didn't already know it was a solution to someone's desire and or problem. So the most important thing, like all the systems in terms of like the technology is so thwarting to people, but we are living in a day and age where the technology is literally, I mean, you can drag and drop your way into just about any platform. It's so much easier. There's such good customer service. There's so many YouTube videos about how to, anyone can learn the tech. Do not let that scare you. The most important thing is knowing what is going through the mind of somebody who you could help, and connecting really deeply with the desire or the passion or the dream or the problem or the struggle or the challenge of that person out there who is a good person for you to help with whatever it is you do. That is actually the hardest part. And that is actually the most important focal point, is what can you do to be of service to the person you want to help? Everything else will fall into place. And I promise you this, after 20 years and self-employed and doing this work, it all falls into place when you're connected with how you can serve your client. It really does.
I love that answer, connection. And that is something so special about the way most of us women work with each other, is that know, like, trust, connection. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right after this, we're going to talk about your visibility. We have a accountability group that's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern that we want to invite you to. So enjoy this dance break. And
share your story, own your name, step in the light, ignite your flame, show up, shine out, it's time to be heard, flip fear into power with every word, visibility, accountability, we write a wild new legacy.
is
Where
that
did,
fun?
where did you get that song?
I wrote it.
No, I love it. I was jamming out backstage. That was awesome.
Oh yes, I'm adding that to my list of what I can do for you.
Yes, yes, I love it. Yes.
So here's a question, and I asked you this at Podfest as well, but I want you to bring it here. Why does visibility matter?
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. There's so many good answers to this question. And I loved watching you ask this question to so many women around that table and getting so many different answers. When I initially was thinking about doing this today, I thought visibility matters because if you're driven to solve a problem, to help people, they can't come work with you. They can't buy from you. They can't get your solution if they can't find you, right? So visibility matters for that reason. But in the recent, like I would say the last year or so, I've been working intensely with a lot of my clients on this. I mean, there's a lot of fear about being seen. There's a lot of fear of failure. There's so much fear. And the difference between people who are successful and ones who, don't make enough money to keep the business running are everyone feels the fear. And some of us, we have to push ourselves past it and keep doing the thing that we do despite the fear, the vulnerability, the awkwardness, like something's going to go wrong. You're going to make a mistake. It's going to happen. You got to push yourself past that and continue to serve. And I think by doing that, by getting visible, it heals something inside of ourselves. And I've noticed that with myself. Like 10 years ago, I didn't really want to put my face on camera that much. I wanted to be a behind the scenes producer, and I still definitely feel that way. But I realized I cannot help more women if I don't show them my face and get comfortable being seen and being heard. And so it was really healing for me to decide it's okay. You're never going to be for everybody. You're never going to be perfect, but you can be seen by the ones who need you and show up for the ones who need you. And that's very healing to just get out of your ego, get out of your own way and let yourself be of service. But that requires visibility. So I think it's important for healing our own blocks.
Ooh, what a beautiful answer. And I'm with you on that. I really think there is that inner work to visibility that is so healing when we step into it.
Yeah.
Now, this question I love because we chatted about this and you were such an inspiration when you asked me a similar question. But what legacy message drives Deborah?
I mean, the message that I keep coming back to, regardless of how I'm helping somebody or what we're working on, is that you don't need to be somebody else to be successful. I think there's a lot of looking outward and dreaming and envisioning, oh, look at that millionaire over there, or look at that person who's comfortable being on camera, or look at that person who's already figured out their funnel, or look at that person who's got a successful business. And we project onto them things that we believe either are not attainable by ourselves or that we have to change who we are to become more like people that are examples of success. And I think the real success is just communicating what you already do in a way that people can understand and trust. The more you can be yourself, the more likely you will be successful because people are going to love you for being you. It's going to give them permission to be themselves. And so it's a challenge in entrepreneurship because when you're scaffolding and building something brand new and you really want to be seen and be successful, the only thing you can do is look out into the world and look for examples of how to, mimic and or, shape your thing. So we begin by learning from others. We begin by following what worked. We learn what, examples, formulas, steps other people did to build success. But your success is going to be built on you being yourself. And I believe that really deeply. And so I think if there was a legacy message I could send to, women entrepreneurs specifically, I would say, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Stay true to yourself, work on that piece of the puzzle and be you. And that's going to be a major key to being successful.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to clue you in a little bit about, you talked about what would be your last talk. And when you asked me that question, and if that was it, I'm like, wow, you had me spinning on that in a beautiful way that really caused me to like look inside and going, okay, I ask that question often and I think about it, but what really is it? They'll have to stay tuned to find what that is. And if anybody wants to share their legacy message with us, what it means to you, drop it in the chat, send us a message. We would love to find out what legacy means to you.
Yeah.
So Deborah, what is next for you? What are you offering right now, and how can we find you?
So you can find me online at my website is deborahcsmith.com, DEBORAH, letter C, SMITH. I hang out on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I can drop my handles with this episode. I am the host of the Mindset to Market podcast. That podcast is specifically aimed at helping solopreneurs overcome the daily challenges of running your own business. So it covers everything from, having that can-do mindset to practical how-tos of like, how do you actually do something? Plus, I bring on expert guests and have some really fun conversations. And currently, the thing I've been working on, I have my group coaching program. It's called Foundations. It's a 6-month program to help install a client attraction system into your business. So we're building lead gen and sales systems around your signature offer. And I love that program so much. For anybody out there who's like, I don't have an automated lead gen and sales system and is interested, please come chat with me. But the thing that I've been doing this winter into the spring that's been super exciting and fun is what I'm calling a message and revenue reset, because so much has shifted with AI. So much has changed, and the speed with which things are happening, that people are finding that their assets, their lead magnets, their funnel messaging, all the different landing pages, sales pages feel quickly outdated. And so we're doing deep dive audits from cold traffic all the way to onboarding emails, so that everything is zipped up and sort of giving it like a spring glow up. It's so awesome. So I'm doing the audits and the deep dives, and then I'm meeting with my clients, having this like fully done audit for them to show them where the gaps are that they can't see. Then together we're sort of like giving it the glow up. So we're tweaking the offer if we have to. And then from there, we're repositioning the messaging so that it's high converting. And it's been so much fun to do, but also it's been successful. My clients are turning around and making sales. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yay, congratulations on that. So that is Foundations is the program. They can find you deborahcsmith.com, as well as LinkedIn, Instagram, and the Mindset to Market podcast. My goodness, I just absolutely love talking to you. She and I are headed backstage now to keep on talking. Thank you for joining this episode, Deborah. You are amazing.
Thank you for having me. Time for the after party.
Who's up next in the Golden Chair? Join us next week. I'm your host, Christina Vidovich of Women Getting Visible.